Yo, this is your homie Cisco. I'm making this channel for fun. In the beginning, I'll be on here making videos about my true life experiences. I'll be talking about some growing up in the hood, in the projects type stories of when I was really young to a teenager. I'll be talking about how I was in some pretty dangerous situations as a teenager and a young man in my 20s, and how an intuition, a bad feeling, pretty much saved my life many times over. Uh, my wifey likes to say it was God or a guardian angel watching over me. She's probably right, but I always called it my spidey sense. You know, wifey, she's kind of iffy about me doing this channel because some of the stories I'm going to talk about are pretty serious stuff. Some, big time dangerous stuff that happened in the prison when I was a CO and a DO there. And also some of the stuff I experienced in the hood, in the projects, some possibly unresolved situations, So I started off by kind of brainstorming and talking to people like wifey and a couple of my boys, like my homies, like just running ideas by them and stuff and helping, them helping jog my memory about certain things I've talked to them about. But of course, every story I came up with or every experience I talked to with wifey, she was like, no, you can't do that one. No, don't talk about that. So, I pretty much decided not going to run any more stories by wifey or else I won't have anything to talk about. So I'm just going to say, you know, I'll give warning in certain videos like, this is stuff that happened like some of it is like in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Um, a lot of the stories, are graphic. Some of the stuff is not politically correct or whatever. I'll try to be as respectful as possible to all parties and as truthful as I can recall to my own memory and accounts that were given to me by other people involved that were maybe there or witnessed it also. You know, that's all I can do. But anyway, I'm also going to talk about my many years as, like I mentioned, as a CO and detention officer, about 16 years. About 5 of that was at Arizona State uh, Department of Corrections, Arizona DOC. I worked at a Supermax unit, SMU1. Um, DOC like to say SMU stood for Special Management Unit, but that was like the politically correct term for it. It was a Supermax unit, level 5, lockdown 23 hours out of the day, and just the worst of the worst there. All violent offenders. The majority were hardcore prison gang members. And I also worked at for a private company called Corrections Corporation of America. It was a federal detention center, and we mainly housed for U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security, and ICE. There was various other contracts there from Alaska and D.C. and a couple others. Also, a bit about my time as a bouncer at a pretty rough bar slash club, and doing campus security at the same high school that I had graduated from, many years previous, So that was a big turnaround. I got in a lot of trouble in high school, a lot of fights, was investigated for slanging dope, but wouldn't me. It was one of my homies. But anyway, so I also worked about 7 years part-time at for a second job at a group home for troubled teens. I really enjoyed that job. I did my best to be a positive influence and role model if I could, be to some of those very troubled young men. It was a very emotional and physically draining job. Just watching them come and go, being arrested, falling to addiction, etc., constantly breaking up fights between them, and even having to restrain them sometimes when they would try to attack or get physical with staff, even with myself a couple of times. Um, I also have many paranormal experiences that started from the time when I was very young. I've seen spirits in my room many nights, as well as my sisters experienced the same thing, in the old house slash apartment in the projects we grew up in. It's kind of sounds kind of cliched, but you know, um, the projects we grew up in supposedly were built over a old cemetery that was just basically like relocated. So they just knocked, over the headstones and supposedly removed, the bodies, the people that were buried there. Um, but yeah, that was the legend or theory or whatever behind it. So I still continue to experience and sense things now and again. Up until recently, like 4 or 5 months ago, was the last experience I had here at the school I work at, actually. There's a whole big story behind that also that I'll talk about later on in one of my videos. Um, my three sisters, like I said, have also always been very sensitive to spirits and such. One of my sisters, the youngest, which is about 3 years older than me, is involved in a couple of my paranormal experiences that I'll tell in some of my later videos. So, I got a lot of different things to talk about. All of my stories, I can 100% say are 100% true. Um, none of this is fictional. Way down the line, like if this channel is successful at all, and maybe one day I'll go through all my stories, and I might run out of experience of my own to talk about. I'll probably talk about a couple of my friends' experiences that they want to share, and like some family, and then maybe I'll just start narrating other people's stories after that. If, like I said, if my channel is successful and people want to hear me talk about stuff, then I would definitely be open to that. You know, uh, like I said, I'm totally new to this. I'm very amateur, so if this isn't the most professional video, you know, hey, I'm learning. I'm gonna try to do the best job that I can, and keep it interesting, and just put the best stuff on here I can. So I'm doing these videos without editing. I'm just recording and then uploading them. So not sure how other channels do it, but I'm basically like writing out all my experiences, and then printing them out, and then I'm going to be reading them on my channel. That way, hopefully, I don't leave out any details that I remember later on. And like I said, I'm going to try to be as accurate as I can from memory, from what I remember, and as respectful as possible to all people involved. So I'm sure eventually, some people from the old hood, from my old hometown, are gonna maybe catch the channel and hear some of the stories and be like, oh, I remember that, or when this happened or whatever. And like I said, hopefully they'll understand that I'm trying to tell the stories as accurate as I remember. A lot of these things happened a long time ago, so if I get certain facts wrong or not 100% accurate, hopefully they'll understand that. And I'm just, going to try to be as respectful as possible telling these stories, and you know, that's about it. So, you know, like I said, I'm doing this for fun in the beginning, I just want to tell my life experiences, and hopefully people will like my stories and maybe get something out of them or just be entertained. That's the main thing, is try to keep it interesting. Hopefully people will watch. But if I start to get followers, people liking my stories, then, maybe this will be a nice little side hustle, make a little bit of that cheddar. But like I said, it's mostly for fun. Hopefully people like my stories. And, okay, that's it for now. Your homie, Big Cisco. Peace.